So when you bring health into coaching practice, you are going to be wanting to know exactly where are your clients in the whole awareness of wellness, recovery, treatment, and health. So what you need is a starting point, and that starting point is, for us, the simple diagram, which I hope you will have watched the video of, and if you haven't watched the video about, it's down below in this set of videos. So essentially what we're saying is, where are you? Now, the recovery process is different to the way that you would think about wellness. Why is it different? It's different because essentially recovery is driven by a desire for transformation from a place of imbalance and unease and often illness to a place that is the opposite of that, which we are going to describe as wellness. So if you are recovered, so if you think about if you get a cold, you go to bed and you decide you're going to recover from your cold or your flu and so on. So recovery is that process where you take steps to bring yourself back to overall well-being. That's exactly the same when we think about it in coaching. We want to know where people consider themselves to be. Now, if they're in recovery, if they identify themselves as in recovery, and if they are actually in a recovery process or needing a recovery process, because just remember that not everyone who gets into trouble with health-related issues, be they mental health, physical health, and so on, is automatically going to be able to self-generate a recovery process. And that's really the rationale for having skilled recovery and wellness coaches around the place to help people do that. And the other thing that we also ought to remember is that people in their normal lives who live fundamentally in the wellness zone actually from time to time need recovery processes, because in one domain of their life they may well have come adrift in terms of their health and they need to restore it. And just remember also that some of those domains can actually pull all the other domains in somebody's life into crisis. So if you think about somebody, for instance, developing an addiction that permeates all aspects of their life, somebody gets chronically ill or gets suddenly ill, that of course affects all other areas of their life. So that one domain can actually have a knock-on effect and be detrimental to other domains. So the recovery process is essentially about restoring that person's life back to a place where they feel that they are experiencing well-being and wellness as the overall experience of their life. The reason why you might say I'm being hedgy about specifically saying they are well in all areas of their life, because in reality wellness ebbs and flows, and when people come out of recovery process and, if you like, reorientate themselves to be in a wellness zone, the wellness zone, so to live their life not from the perspective of I'm trying to get over something, but from the perspective of I have got over something and now I'm building wellness in my life, there is always the option and possibility of temporarily dipping back down into a place where they need to revisit the recovery process or regenerate the recovery process. So we're dealing here with really domains that all feed into each other, that are constantly in flow. There's no fixed absolutes. And so the diagram that we use to explore recovery is essentially, it's quite static in a way, and that helps us sort of generally navigate, but mustn't let us then become arbitrary in the way that we think about placing people, in recovery and wellness. The reality of it is all of us are ebbing and flowing through these things all the time. So when you as a coach step into that place of integrating health, you may find yourself needing to engage with your client from the perspective of this recovery process.